Every ancient culture on Earth has the same story. A great flood, a single survivor, a boat, animals saved two by two, a world destroyed and reborn. The ancient Sumerians wrote about it 4,000 years ago. The story of Utnapishtim, a man warned by the gods who built a great vessel and survived the flood that destroyed humanity. The ancient Greeks told the story of Deucalion, who built an ark and floated for 9 days as the world drowned beneath him. The Hindus wrote of Manu, who was warned by a fish to build a boat. He survived. Everyone else perished. The indigenous peoples of Australia, of North America, of South America, of Africa, all of them carry flood myths, different languages, different gods, different names, the same story, 200 cultures, one flood. This is not a coincidence. For centuries, scientists dismissed these stories as myth, religious allegory, primitive explanations for a world they didn't understand. Then the ice melted, and everything changed. 12,000 years ago, the Earth was a different planet. Great ice sheets, some 3 kilometers thick, covered North America, Northern Europe, and large parts of Asia. Sea levels were 120 meters lower than they are today. Think about what that means. The coastlines of every continent looked completely different. Land bridges connected islands that are now separated by hundreds of kilometers of ocean. Britain was connected to Europe, Japan was connected to Asia, North America was connected to Russia, and along those ancient coastlines, land that is now deep beneath the ocean, people lived. They built settlements, they fished, they farmed, they raised families, they created cultures. We have almost no record of them, because their world is underwater. Then, starting around 12,000 years ago, the ice began to melt. Not all at once, in pulses, in catastrophic surges that raised sea levels by meters within decades. The largest of these events, called Meltwater Pulse 1A, occurred around 14,000 years ago. In a matter of centuries, sea levels rose by 20 meters. Coastlines retreated by hundreds of kilometers. Everything built along those ancient shores was swallowed by the sea. Imagine living through this. You are born in a village by the water. Your grandparents were born there. Their grandparents before them. You have fished these waters your entire life. Then, within your own lifetime, the sea begins to rise. First, it takes the lowest fields, then the beaches, then the lower town. Within a generation, the village is gone. Within 2 generations, the hills where you fled are themselves beneath the waves. This happened, not once, repeatedly, over thousands of years. The survivors carried these memories, stories of cities swallowed by water, of warnings from the gods, of the necessity to flee to higher ground, of a world that existed before, a world now lost beneath the sea. These stories were passed down, generation to generation, for thousands of years. By the time they were written down, in Mesopotamia, in India, in Greece, the original events were already ancient history. The stories had been shaped by time, by religion, by the imagination of storytellers. But the core memory remained. The world was once destroyed by water. Our ancestors survived. We are their descendants. This is not mythology. This is memory. In 1997, 2 marine geologists, William Ryan and Walter Pittman, published a landmark study. They found evidence that around 7,600 years ago, the Mediterranean Sea burst through the Bosphorus Strait into a freshwater lake that is now the Black Sea. The water didn't rise slowly. It came in a torrent, a waterfall 10 times the volume of Niagara Falls. Every day the lake rose by 15 centimeters. The shoreline retreated by a kilometer every day. The people living around that ancient lake had no warning. One day, their world existed. The next, it was gone. Ryan and Pittman called this the Black Sea Flood, and they proposed it as the origin of the biblical flood narrative, carried by refugees who fled in every direction, spreading the story across the ancient world. Not everyone accepts this theory. The debate continues, but the core finding that catastrophic floods happened repeatedly in the prehistoric past is now settled science. In 2017, archaeologists found evidence of ancient settlements on the floor of the Black Sea, stone buildings, wooden structures, a landscape preserved under cold, oxygen-depleted water for 7,600 years. A world beneath the world, and the Black Sea is just one location. Around the globe, as technology has improved, we have found evidence of drowned civilizations everywhere. In the Gulf of Kambat, off the coast of India, underwater surveys have found what appears to be a city, stone structures, artifacts, possibly a harbor, at a depth of 40 meters. Dating suggests it could be over 9,000 years old. If confirmed, it would predate the oldest known civilizations by thousands of years. Off the coast of Japan, the Yonaguni Monument, a series of massive stone terraces at 27 meters depth, has been studied for decades. Some scientists believe it is natural rock formation. Others believe it is the remains of a structure built when sea levels were lower. We don't know. The sea doesn't give up its secrets easily. But here is what we know for certain. We know that sea levels were dramatically lower 12,000 years ago. We know that vast areas of what is now ocean floor were once dry land. We know that people lived there. We know that catastrophic flooding occurred repeatedly over thousands of years. We know that every ancient culture on Earth carries flood myths. The question is no longer whether ancient floods destroyed human settlements. They did. The question is what those settlements contained. How advanced were the cultures that were destroyed? What knowledge did they carry? What did they discover and lose before written history began? We are just beginning to look. Underwater archaeology is still in its infancy. The technology to explore deep-sea floors at scale doesn't exist yet. The vast majority of the ancient coastlines, the places where people actually lived because people have always lived near water, are unexplored. There may be cities down there, libraries, evidence of civilizations we don't know existed. Knowledge that was lost not because people forgot, but because the ocean swallowed the evidence. The Noah story, the Utnapishtim story, the Deucalion story, they all end the same way. The flood recedes. The survivor lands on a mountain, and civilization begins again. But what if civilization didn't begin again? What if civilization continued, rebuilt on the ruins of what came before, carrying fragments of memory from a world that was lost? What if the ancient Egyptians, the Sumerians, the Indus Valley civilization, what if they weren't the beginning? What if they were the continuation? What if the oldest civilizations we know of were built by people who remembered something older? We don't know. The evidence is underwater. But somewhere beneath the ocean that covers 70% of our planet, the answer may be waiting. 200 flood myths, one shared memory, a world that existed before the world we know. We just haven't found it yet. If questions like these keep you awake at night, if you want to understand not just what we know, but what we might be missing, subscribe to Paleo Sapiens. Every 2 weeks we go deeper into the evidence, into the mysteries, into the stories that history almost forgot. Click the bell icon and comment below. Do you think there are lost civilizations waiting to be found under the ocean? What do you think we're missing? I read every single comment. Thank you for watching. See you next time on Paleo Sapiens.